He's working on it.
You should be good, Toby.
All right, we are back at the garage on a Wednesday night. As always, I got to read through our sponsors real quick. If I get to the right page, I better be on the right page, but I don't need to read that other page.
I didn't even get your stuff up there.
We got Morning Sun Marketplace out in Thomasville, Pennsylvania with Rick and Sue Fritz. Got to be the biggest flea marketplace I've ever seen. You can get anything and everything you want there. You should check it out if you're out in that area. It's just right out by Gettysburg if you don't know where Thomasville is. Hawk Wings up in Jackson, Minnesota. They'll build you a wing for anything you want to race. My Race Pass, as we always say, if you don't have My Race Pass and you call yourself a race fan, you might want to rethink that if you don't have it. You need to get it. It's got everything you can imagine. Kaiser Wheels down here in Alton, Iowa. Be wiser, buy Kaiser. Kudum Auto Sales over in Inwood, Iowa. R&K Insulation also over in Inwood, Iowa. Houston Speedway, which we call our home track because we're looking forward to it. Mother's Day is not that far away anymore, bud. Fulkins Brothers Trucking. They haul livestock all over the country, coast to coast, and we always want to thank them for what they've done for us and for racing in general. S2F for start to finish. Another streaming service. They cover Port City. You get to watch all the micros and stuff down there, and they do all the Power I series. I think there's like 6 Power I series or so. We always want to thank Hero Haven for everything that they do for the vets and the first responders. And also Lumber Lounge and Garage with Bent's Racing with Shane and Snow. And they're doing it at noon now, and I didn't get a chance to watch it yet from yesterday, but I'm sure it was a great show. So look it up and give it a little listen, and your turn, bud.
All right, here we go. Hey, we're back at Hoagie's Garage, and Tobe, we are very fortunate tonight to have Don Long on. How you doing, Don?
Hey, greetings from Knoxville, Iowa. I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for inviting me on your show.
Well, we appreciate you coming on. I had the privilege of getting to know you out in Vegas a little bit when Steve had me out there, and we had a blast, and we talked, and I talked you into being on the show, so now you're stuck with us for a little while.
Well, yeah, let's go. I think we both have a good passion for racing, so let's talk racing.
We can do that.
Absolutely. Don, why don't you first just tell us about yourself? How old are you? Because I do think you might be our oldest person we've ever had on the show, so that's awesome right there. But give us a little information about yourself, Don.
Okay, well, in 2 weeks, I'm going to be 92 years old. I was born and raised in Burlington, Iowa, and I went to work for a telephone company after I got out of high school back in 1953. I don't know, it's been a long story. As things went along in the telephone business, I ended up fortunate enough to own a couple and got involved in racing, and here I am today. Now I met a lot of nice people in racing, just like you guys out at Vegas.
Perfect. Appreciate the nice pitch there for us. We'll take every compliment we can get. But you said you started out working right out of high school. Now you own a company. What was your first job with the telephone company?
I got a job through the employment office in Burlington, Iowa. I went to work in Chicago, Illinois, in a very prestigious part of Chicago, 74th and Halsted. It's a place you probably don't want to go to right now, but it was putting in switching equipment for all the modern telephone services that was going to be coming up in the 50s and 60s.
Okay.
Now, you took that job because you were going to get a bonus, something like that, right?
Oh my God, yes. I think I was going to get like maybe it's a $12 or $120 or something. But the big deal was, it was supposed to get that, and I had it already spent, but I found out I only got, I think it was $10 a week or a month. So
they didn't want you to collect it all and quit right away.
No, they wanted to keep you working.
Yeah, they kept me working. It was like putting a carrot in front of the dog or the rabbit, you know. I kept running after it.
Yeah, well, it seemed to have worked out good for you.
Oh, yeah, it did. I met as many nice people in the telephone business as I have anywhere else in the world, and a lot of camaraderie. And when I did retire, if you want to call it that, the hardest thing for me was just not being around people I knew and liked, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
I've heard that from other people.
Now, when you were 18, I don't even know what year that would have been, but what kind of money, if you don't mind me asking, what kind of money would you make an hour?
I was probably making $1 an hour, and I think I went over there for like $1.10, or I know I was making at least a dime more than I was making. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you got an opportunity to buy a telephone company. How'd that come about?
Oh, I was involved in a company that was involved in switching equipment, and I was in charge of buying and selling and maintenance and that. And the guy came in my office and he said, "Hey, you want to buy a telephone company?" And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, I went on a call on a guy today. Want to sell him some equipment." And he says, "I don't want to buy any of your damn equipment. I want to sell you my telephone company." So I told this guy, I said, "Let's go talk to him." We did. I ended up buying it, and then I bought 2 others.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
That is really
Then you
cool.
stayed busy for a long time.
Oh yeah, it was a fun run. Didn't know what I was doing, just like racing when I started, but it's been very good to me.
Yep.
And I don't know. It was kind of natural feeling for me, you know.
Yeah,
Sure.
absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
were you involved in racing at all before you went to Chicago, or how did you get involved in racing? When did you start liking racing, let's say?
Well, probably back in the 1939s or 40s. My folks lived along the Highway 34 in Burlington, Iowa. Now, we were about a house or 2 back, but along the Highway 34, if you remember back then, there was a lot of tourist homes and motels, not motels, but cabins. And in our neighborhood, there was a guy that had about 3 or 4 cabins, and a cabin was a little building, maybe about 20 foot square.
Yep.
And what would happen in the summertime, there would be some race crews that would come through and have race cars. And I assume back there they were probably sprint cars. And my mother would give me permission to go over there and watch the sprint cars. And then after I'd see the cars, I'd talk my dad in. "Oh, they're running in the fairgrounds. So will you take me to the races?" So that's how I got watching them and going to the races. Probably back in 39 or 40 time frame. I was probably 5 or 6 years old. And you see, the World War II didn't start till 41. So I was
Yep.
7 or 8, just watching those guys come through the year. They came through every year.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you've been liking racing for a long time. Let's just leave it at that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And you in high school, did you dabble with some of the cars, like with the motors and stuff like that, or?
Oh, yeah. As a teenager, there was 3 or 4 of us running around. In fact, here's how much I knew about cars. I had a Model A Ford, and a buddy of mine had one of them little 6-cylinder or 60 horsepower Ford V8s. We put that in my Model A Ford, and I could go faster in second gear than I could on first, because I did not understand gearing in that back in those days.
Oh man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So have you ever raced yourself, Don?
I've been in a race car one time when I was racing with John Beaver. He got me a race suit and got me all lined up. My wife and some of her friends put it on a video, and the title of that video is Don's Wild Ride. And at the end of it, my wife says, "I'll never worry about losing him, because I can walk faster than he can drive."
Oh, that's so awesome.
So was that in one of Beaver's sprint cars then that you were driving, or?
Oh yeah. That was my great time. And I don't know if you guys remember John Beaver. John was it was into kind of Mike Brooks's career with Harold and Etch, when he was running good with that Macau cars and that. And John and I started racing. In fact, the first race engine I ever bought was from Mike Brooks. It was a brand new Gertie 360 engine.
Really?
Yeah.
What would an engine cost way back then? Do you have any idea?
I can tell you exactly how much I paid. That was $15,000.
Oof.
Enough.
but I got a heck of a lot of. I got some parts. I got a lot of. I cut a deal with Mike. He was getting kind of out of the sprinters in that time, you know.
Okay.
But that was the original price.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now for a 410, it's 70 plus. A lot of them are, I
Yeah.
think.
Probably. Even
Oh my
360.
God! Yeah, you know, if you depends on how much high tech stuff you want to put in it, or some of the
Yep.
better grade stuff. You can get 75 in with a drop of a hat, you know.
Yeah. So
And then it might blow up in the first lap. You just don't know. Most of them
There's,
don't.
there's
but, I
no
mean,
warranties on a red sprint car engine.
No.
No. So was Beavers the first one that you worked with, or was there somebody before Beavers?
There was one before me, a kid by the name of Brent Golick, and he's passed many years ago. But one of my companies that I owned at that time was Kilduff Telephone Company, and you'll have to look hard for that on the map. But his father was a patron of mine, and I was in the seed corn office in Kilduff one time. That's where everybody met. And he said, "Hey, you're in the race. My kid wants to start racing. Would you help him?" I said, "Yeah, I did." And Brent was a pretty good kid, but hard to say this. He wasn't going to go anywhere racing. Let's put it that way.
Yep.
Just a good local guy.
Yep.
He was enjoying the sport, and that was about as far as he was going to go.
Yeah, well, you got to have them too. You got to have them to fill the field. So.
Oh yeah. You gotta. You know, it was nice. It was a good run.
Yeah. Not everybody's a Kyle Larson, although they all want to be, but not all of them are. So.
Oh yeah, it's the thrill of victory and agony and defeat is in there somewhere, but everybody thinks of that thrill of victory, you know.
Yep. Well, it's dirt racing, so it changes by the hour.
Oh
on
my
the
God,
track,
yeah,
and
yes.
every track you go to is different, and yeah, you just don't know from one night to the next on the dirt track.
No, there sure is. There's two things in sprint car racing I'll share with you. There's two things I firmly believe in sprint car racing. Number one, you can't buy a sprint car race, because I don't give a damn if you got all the money in the world. You still got to drive that car on a track, and you got a bunch of people get around, because the other 20 guys in the race wanted to win too. And the other one I firmly believe is you cannot rehearse a sprint car race.
Oh no.
You know? Yeah, as soon as you push off, it's all new.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good point. I've never thought about that, but that is the gospel truth.
Yeah.
Like we said, we just don't know. When we were in Vegas, Larson looped her on the first lap on that second night or whatever it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
You would have won a lot of money if you would have bet something like that.
Oh yeah, if there would have been a bet on that in Vegas and you could put money on it, yeah, odds would have been.
Oh yeah, and it could have been a Kyle Larson, or it could have been a Brent Golick that didn't have a chance on the front row too. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's racing, and I think that's why we enjoy it, because you don't know when you go.
Don't know the outcome.
You don't any idea what you're going to get to watch.
Oh, that's for sure. That's for sure.
So, any idea, Don, how many different race teams you've helped through the years?
Oh, probably 5 or 6. I helped those Golick and Beaver, and then another one I helped that I enjoyed as much as anything was Jonathan Cornell. He was out of Sedalia, Missouri, and was running with him good, and then he decided he was going to get married and drop out of racing, but probably was a wise move on his part, but gosh, the kid had a lot of talent. I always liked him. He's one of the guys he enjoyed going racing with. And then I helped McCarls, of course, and they're a good racing family.
Yep.
Now I'm helping Tasker Phillips, another great racing family, and of course helping Rensel and Brian Ridge on that crew.
Yep.
Yeah. I've heard that there's more than that. I kind of have a list like of Brian Brown and
oh yeah, I was in with Brownie, yes.
Now the ones I'm a little curious, I heard like a Justin Sanders and a Cox out in California. Did you help them out some too?
Oh, yeah, depending on what we're talking about helping, if it was probably cash or some support or that, yeah. Uh, nothing big on those guys because their name didn't pop into my mind.
Yep.
Yep. Sammy
Yeah.
Swindell at all?
Sammy, yes, Sammy used to stay right next door to me, and after probably part of the time he would park his hauler net over on a piece of property I got. Never give him any support other than just helping him out, with a place to park his hauler.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So when you were helping the McCarls, was that with Leonard then too?
No, just started out with Terry,
Okay.
and then Austin won a couple races for me, and so did
Carson?
Carson. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, another one that just popped in my mind is McKenna. We helped her out quite a while for a period of time.
Kenahasi?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice gal. We've had her on the show.
Yep.
Yeah, she did. She was really thankful for what we did to her. She was into some engine things she needed, and we helped her out along those lines. And she was very thankful, and I appreciate it. She did well, and I was pleased.
Yep.
Yeah. She maybe has more guts than a lot of people I know. I mean, she just when we talked to her, she just picked up and moved to Indianapolis
Yep.
and didn't even have a place to stay.
No,
Just
Isn't that amazing?
She was going to sleep in her car till she found something.
yeah, wasn't it?
Huh.
She went to church and there was an older lady there that
Yep,
said
that-
she could stay with her or something
Yep,
like
had
that.
I don't know if it was in the garage or just the upstairs or downstairs, but she had a room and she could stay there.
Yeah. So
I am not
Yeah,
that
isn't that
brave.
amazing?
Yep.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it down there. I just couldn't do it that.
and now I think she's married to an
Oh.
NFL football
Yep.
player from the Minnesota Vikings. So
Yeah. I know she got married, and hey, the best of luck for her because, like I say, she's one of the memories you have. They were always good.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, what's the relationship with Jamie Moyle?
Oh, Jamie Moyle is a guy that's probably done me more good than you can shake a stick at. Years ago, when I was racing with Beaver, we bought a lot of Jamie's stuff again because he was slowing down on racing. And then after a period of time, Marty got into a race shop, and I got talking to him, and he knew I liked engines and what my thoughts were. And I talked to him and I said, what's it going to take to get me an engine that's, something that's just going to beat the hell out of everything on the track. He says, I got a lot of good ideas, he says, but sometimes I'm afraid to try them. And he says, I'm trying to build engines, and if one of my things don't work, it could be a disaster for my shop. And I said, look, I'll tell you what, I'll give you this commitment. You start building me engines, and you do what you think is going to make them better, and I will never tell you that I won't pay you for the engine. And it worked. He started coming up with ideas, and that's when I was racing with McCarl. In fact, Morley was still using Lee Nelson's dyno at that time, but he built about 2 or 3 engines for me, and when you looked at them on the dyno sheet, they look good. And we all know it's been in racing, then the dyno sheet don't mean anything more than the paper it's written on it, but they were looking good. And we started putting them in McCarl's car, and yeah, they were doing good. And so we had one that really came out looking good, and I talked to Renzel and said, hey, I got an engine that I'd like to have in the 360 National. I said, you've never driven for me before. Would you try my engine? I said, I'd like to put another dog in this 360 race. He said, yeah. And we did, and by gosh, I think you won it.
That was a good dog that you had.
Yeah. And Renzel is the type of guy. We're dropping off a McCarl, but Renzel's the type of guy that when we were working with Marley trying to get things going, and we got hooked up with him. Boy, he he could tell us what he was looking for in an engine, what he wanted, you know.
Yep.
And Morley was, he'd raced all his life as a kid over in Australia, so he knew what to do and basically what not to do. And yeah, his talents, Morley, he's got in the way of building engines. It's hard to find somebody as good as he is.
Yep.
Yeah. That's cool. That you know, and how long would you say your relationship with Moyle Engines has been?
Oh boy, well, clear back to when I was racing with Beaver, because we were buying his used parts too, you know.
Yeah, that's a long time then.
Oh yeah, and you know, he last probably 6 years or so. He's probably well, when Beaver was running, he had some pretty good engines from Morley too.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they run, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, they do run.
Does he build 410s too, or is it just 360s?
Well, he's living that 410 route now, because you know the 360s now have made a big change. The old cast iron blocks that we were running, now about everybody's trying to get into the aluminum blocks.
Yep.
And so he's like, as an engine builder, he likes them aluminum blocks a heck of a lot better than the cast iron ones. So he'll still work on them 360s. I'm great, but you know, his eyes shine when he gets a 410 in there and gets to build a new one of those, you know.
And he's got a big smile on his face.
Oh yeah. This is what I've been looking for.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. You know, he paid his dues. He built engines, and you know.
Yep. Yeah, none of that comes overnight. You know, you got it, like you said.
No, it doesn't.
You got to pay the dues to get to where you're at. So.
Sure.
I was just going to ask, back when the Hall of Fame was started in Knoxville, Don, you've been involved in racing that long. Did you have anything to do? Were you helping with that or anything, or anything like that with the Hall of Fame? Or
the Hall of Fame came about. I was on the city council in Knoxville, Iowa at that time, and I don't remember the exact dates, but also I was on the city council and the Industrial Development Board. And if you remember, the Nationals was starting to become a big deal.
Yep.
This is probably back, let's say the mid 70s. And it was becoming a big deal. And one of the things that the Industrial Development Board was looking for was something to capitalize on the fact that Nationals, there was some potential. It was big, you know, it was big for the town. And so we got talking with Ralph Capitani, because Ralph was, he was well known not on the racetrack, but around town. And his wife, he were both teachers, and my wife was a teacher. And that helped people. I knew each other. And when we talked to Ralph and brought him in, he said, he says, I think there's a lot of potential, because the fair board was at that time was, you know, they could see that Nationals was starting to turn into some big stuff, and the fair board was looking for some property to buy to expand their camping. Because if you remember back in those days, when they had the old barn there where all the good stuff happened, that was all being torn down and replaced in campers and that.
Yep.
So when we got the Hall of Fame thing fired up and going, we started talking with Sue Cappy, talking to some guys on the fair board, and they were excited, but nothing the greatest. But Ralph also said, you know, we need to talk to some of the people that's involved in racing. And in those days, the big names back then was Harold Annette, of course, because he was with Mike Brooks, was doing well. Don Lamberti was in there at that time, but not at the level he is nowadays. Jim Rasmussen, he had a construction Jensen cars. Jack Housby was in there. He was into some racing at that time. And when we floated the idea around these guys, they said, you know, a Hall of Fame or a museum is great, but damn, they take money. They got to have some way of making money. And so we thought we'd go out and buy a piece of property. And they said, well, yeah, but you know, if you buy that property, the only time you're going to have anybody in it is through the Nationals time. So we need to get a hold of the Fair Board, and we did. And at that time, Bill Reinhardt was probably one of the bigger spokesmen for the Fair Board. Another name that's everybody probably recognizes, Grant Rankin, back in those days. Jerry Byers was in there. They said, yeah, it's a big deal. And finally, they said, you know, you guys got an option on a piece of ground out north of town. It's actually where the North Campground is now.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
And they said, you know, you guys have got that. I don't know what you're going to ever try to build a museum there, but what if we took that piece of property and we kind of had it sewed up and said, we buy that property from you, and then we'll lease you some land on turn 2 to build your museum and the Hall of Fame in. And oh man, everybody jumped on that with both feet, you know. and then that came about as well. Now, if we put in the suites, we got that problem of where we're going to make some money.
Money.
Oh, yeah, you got
And
it. Yep.
so it just kind of all turned. Fair Board was looking for a place to move their camping to. We were looking for a place. We had the guys on the Fair Board that was into racing, and I'm quite sure Ralph groomed them for us or got them lined up of what they should be doing, if you want to put it that way. and it worked. And ever since then, the Hall of Fame has been, well, it's survived. You know, it's got two big additions to it now, and
Yep.
oh, you know, they're selling their Corvettes and got those things going. And
Yep. Got that
you know, I
stuff
don't know if that financially, because I'm not on the board anymore of that, but I can sure tell you from just talking to people that's on there, you know, their hard luck days are kind of behind them. They're doing well.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. And well, like you said, they thought the Nationals were becoming something, and that obviously came true. And the Hall of Fame,
Oh,
it's a great
oh,
place
definitely,
to go.
yeah,
You
definitely.
have to go in and check it out. And we got to know Addie Sullivan works for the Hall of Fame. I got to know her in Pennsylvania one year. And
Oh, okay.
When we were down there last year, I think it was, then she took us to the extra shed where they have extra cars that they rotate in and out. So we got to see both buildings, you could say. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of really cool stuff to look at. I've been through that thing now 5 times, 6 times. See something new every time you go through it. It's good. Well, they change it, but I mean, there's too much to see the first time you walk through it. You'll never see it all.
And then, you know, we're fortunate enough on the Hall of Fame, back when they started building that, to get Tom Smay involved in it. And Tom, pardon me, had a lot of contacts with people at racing. And his vision was that, you know, kind of like everybody was saying, you can't support this Hall of Fame with just a few suites. You got to expand it out into a national type thing where you got national people wanting to get involved in it. And he brought in people all from the outside. I remember one of them was, I believe his name was Lee Barfield from down around Florida. He was one of our early people that was supporting the Hall of Fame that wasn't local. There was Lynn Paxton from over around the Eastern Museum up there in that Pennsylvania area.
Yep.
Speedy Bill Smith out there in Lincoln, Nebraska. Speedy always said he had a lot of conflicts with what the Hall of Fame was doing because he was trying to build his own.
Yep.
But he still gave us a lot of support, and I'm quite sure he gave us a lot of good ideas and probably kept the board and everybody else from making mistakes that he could probably guide them away from. And then we got out into California, and I don't know if you remember Clyde Lamar, but you probably all remember John Pageant out there and those boys. And they came on board, and and then we got the national recognition, and that gave them another leg up on how things were going.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
absolutely
it's
awesome.
yeah, and like I said, now with the Brian Clausen suites and the Allbaugh suites.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
and that's that turn two is quite a spectacle all on its own now.
Yeah, isn't it though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And isn't it quite something to think that you had, your hand in with that? That has to make you feel good.
Oh, it does. Yeah, it gives me a lot of good. I've had a suite over there ever since the darn place was running, so I'm still a supporter of it from that aspect.
Yeah.
And you made the mistake of inviting me down sometime for a weekly show, so you're going to get stuck
yeah,
with me
you
this
come
summer.
on down. Yes, yeah, do come down.
I just got to get
Well,
my
you see
brother
that Vegas trip just goes to show you how much camaraderie there is in around the racetracks. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, we always talk about the racing family on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, and nobody in that booth out there was wanting anything. They were just sharing good times.
Yep. Everybody was having fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
Eating
for
our
sure.
sugar bee apples and
Now that's an unusual one, isn't it?
yeah, you don't get apples every day at the racetrack.
No, you don't.
Darn things were
No,
really
you sure
good.
don't.
Yeah. Some other things besides the racing that you've done. I know you've helped with the hospital.
Oh yeah, yeah. I had a lot of friends that went through this, this infusion where they had, I want to say leukemia or some of the treatments where they needed infusion, and I had two of them that went through that, and my wife and I decided, we need to do something to help people like that, because in Knoxville you had to go to Des Moines or travel, and
Yep.
and those people got enough on their mind when they're going through that stage of life.
Yeah, just be nice to stay right in Knoxville, right?
Yeah, they do, and then my wife got involved with the flower club, and they got a little water garden out there. So, thanks to her and all of her friends, that we did something that was nice.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think everybody in Knoxville is really grateful for that.
Sure.
Did you guys help out with the library at all?
Oh yeah, goodness gracious! Libraries is another thing that they went through an expansion time, and it seemed like my wife was a reading teacher, and keep in mind my wife was involved with all the teachers in that, and the library is part of their function. So yeah, it was something that she believed in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's-
And hopefully I still like to read. I mean,
Oh yeah, and it's amazing how many people still use it and things that they do, And the other thing is that my wife really liked, and I think is so much nicer. We get a lot of kids in there; they're reading them stories, and they're actually helping them read and getting them to think about something other than the laptops and that stuff.
their
Yeah,
video games.
Absolutely.
Because I just bought the Steve Kinzer book. Bought it from Dave Augebright the other day up in Sioux Falls, and I've been reading that.
Oh, okay.
That's an interesting read. I didn't realize
Yeah.
he was like 21 before he raced. So he's, in today's
Oh, is that
standards,
right?
In today's standards, he was old.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So,
Absolutely.
we won't keep you all night necessarily. Before we get to the rapid fire questions, I just have to ask about the first 200-mile-an-hour lap at Indy.
Oh,
If
that
people haven't
was
heard this story, Don,
that's
this
a
is one of the best.
memorable moment. In those time frames, we used to my two boys and myself and another about three other couples used to go to Indy for the time trials,
Yep.
And back then, you could tell the year we were there, they were gonna set the 200-mile mark, And I was a Johnny Rutherford fan back then, as long as AJ Foyt was in there too. And anyway, I had Rutherford as my sole pick, and it comes to these guys, they get in this darn line, and they're going to go out for qualifying, So I'm looking at Rutherford, and he's way in the back, and I thought, I got to go to the toilet. God, I got to go. I can't stand it here. And so I'm running down to the men's restroom, and I get in there and I hear, oh, so-and-so pulled out, so-and-so pulled out. Here, Rutherford now, he's number 2, you know. Oh, no, Johnny's going to be on the next guy out. And hell, I hadn't even got to the restroom yet, you know. And I was sitting in there peeing, and oh, there he goes. He turned the first lap at 200 miles an hour, and I missed it.
Well, maybe your pee was probably going about 200 miles an hour at that point.
Oh, God, yeah. I could have pissed on him going around the track. I was so excited.
Oh, ain't that amazing, though, how things can happen like that, though? You wait for something, you
Oh,
wait.
yeah, you know, you bet. You see, again, it's like trying to buy that sprint car race, you know, or
Yeah.
rehearse it. You can't do it. I don't give a darn what you try.
Well, things change, and there
Yeah.
you go.
Now,
Yeah.
I don't want to put you on the spot or anything, so if you can't think of anyone, that's fine. But is there a certain race that stands out in your mind?
One down, I think, in Lake of the Ozark, Jonathan Cornell beat Brian Brown.
Okay.
And the reason is Jonathan pestered him Jonathan probably started 3rd or 4th, and Brown was on the pole, and Jonathan was, you know what he was doing. He was showing him the wheel, and he finally got him to move over. And to me, that was when I watched the whole thing and was pleased with the outcome. So that was my choice.
Yep.
Yeah,
Perfect.
That's awesome.
Perfect.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what do you think? Should we do the rapid fire?
I think we should hit him up for the rapid fire.
If there's a story or something that we didn't hit up on when we're done with this, Don, still feel free to share with
if
us,
it
okay?
pops in your head, just start the story because we don't care.
Oh, yeah. Well, you get down to the suite. We'll share some stories, and then you can do what you want to with them.
Okay, perfect.
What's your favorite kind of ice cream?
Chocolate.
Okay.
But there's a catch to it. It has to have marshmallow and caramel topping on it.
There you go.
That works. Always add a little bit to her. It's like vanilla.
Yeah.
That's way better when you put some chocolate and some walnuts on top of it too. So.
Oh, yeah. You got to have something on top of it.
Yep.
Next question.
Cat or a dog person, Don, or neither?
What's that?
Do you like cats
Cat or
dogs? Yeah.
Dog right now, neither, because I enjoy my lifestyle.
Yep.
Too good without a dog or a cat.
Yep. Dogs are a pain if you're going to leave home ever.
Do you have any hobbies, Don, outside of the racing world?
Oh, I got a wood shop. I'm making some nice little boxes and that for people I like. And I like some pretty fine woodworking, I guess, furniture type stuff where I got some fine stuff to do. Fine woodworking is my hobby, you know?
Perfect.
Absolutely.
That
That keeps you young.
Yep.
So, do you have a favorite movie by chance, Don?
Oh, probably, what was the one with, he and he are floating down the river, Humphrey Bogart, and what the hell was her name? And I can't think of it.
Oh, that's back a ways for me too. I ain't gonna get that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other one recently was Forrest Gump, of course. I think the introduction to the Forrest Gump with the butterfly floating is a technological masterpiece of filmmaking.
Yep. Forrest Gump's a good movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm always a little partial to John Wayne movies. I like a lot of his old westerns.
Yeah.
My wife just
Oh,
loves them. I
yeah,
watch
they
them
were
over
good.
and over
Yes,
again.
they were.
Do you prefer snow or rain?
I prefer rain because it makes things green, and with snow, I got to shovel the darn stuff all the time.
Yeah, I hear you there. If you were going to be stranded on an island, Don, what type of music would you have to have along to listen to?
Oh, probably a variety. Probably the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. You know.
Yep.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know, I can go anywhere from the Mamas and the Papas to Carole King. I just like good music. It's got some good words, and the person singing it, I can understand what they're saying. If I can't, my hearing's not good too. You know, sometimes I got to listen, and then that takes all the fun out of listening to music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I find out, like, I'll sing along with the song that I think I know the words to, and I find out from my wife or somebody that's not what they're saying at all. So I'm like,
I
okay.
have been that way for. Oh my, yeah, I got a family joke on that. I'll share with you sometime.
And then you actually hear the right words to it, and it don't make sense when
Yeah.
you got the right words. It's like,
No,
that don't even
no.
sound good.
Uh-uh.
I sang it wrong for 20 years.
Let's see, you read
Yeah,
that one.
that's
So,
right.
Do you have a favorite place to go out to eat, Don?
Yeah, I like to go right now. I like going to Milo to, I think it's called Houston's. They got the best ribs and pizza. And my bucket list, the place I want to go, and that is Peter Luger's Steakhouse in New York City.
Okay.
And my thing in my bucket list, I want to get about a half dozen guys, and we're going to fly in there, and we're going to eat some of them big steaks and drink some of the best wine he's got on the place.
There you
Well,
go.
that don't sound like
That
a bad
sounds
thing.
good.
A good steak is hard to beat. I like a good hamburger, but if you get a good steak, you can't go wrong with that.
Yep.
You got to go high rolling somewhere along the line, guys.
There you go.
How about a favorite holiday?
Oh, favorite holiday has to be probably Christmas.
Yep.
You know, I remember Christmas as a kid and all the, you know, how kids were thrilled with things happening in Christmas and
Oh
that.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I like to watch my grandkids now.
Yep.
Oh, you bet. Yeah. Yeah.
How many, you know, you've been driving for a lot of years. How many speeding tickets do you have, Don?
I got one. The last one I saw was last August the 6th. I came into Knoxville 45 miles an hour, and then I turned and go by the cemetery. In fact, I was going to see my wife, and it got down to 25. And gosh darn if she didn't give me a ticket for going 20 miles over. So
Oh, my goodness.
it was a bummer.
Yeah.
But that's the last one I've got for a long time.
Yeah, that's good.
Not all bad.
Yeah.
So what's the fastest you've ever driven down the highway, or say ridden with somebody else?
Have you ever heard of a McClure car back in the 1980s that Mercury made, a McClure?
Okay.
Yep.
I had that going 120 miles an hour on the Skunk River bottom one time, and that's the fastest I ever went. And I don't know if that thing probably still had a lot in it.
Oh. What's your favorite drink or go-to beverage?
A good red wine, or probably a beer, something like Stella or Stella Alta or something like that.
Okay.
Heineken.
Yep.
You bet.
Okay, last one, Don, then we'll let you go. If you just won the lottery, the Powerball, you had so much money you didn't know what to do with it. Has there ever been an old car or a pickup or a boat or anything you ever wanted you just didn't think you could waste the money on it?
From a car wise,
Yeah, anything. I don't care if it's
Oh.
a plane or what, but
I tell you what, if I won that lottery, I would charter me an airplane and I would fly around the world.
There you go. That would
That's
be great.
that's what I would do.
that would be
Absolutely.
fun.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
I you know the old 80 days around the world thing.
Yep.
I'd try that on a plane. You know.
Yep.
yeah, absolutely. Why not, right?
That's it.
Well, Don, this has been an absolute blast for us. This has been so much fun, and we
Oh, hey, yeah. Good.
yeah, we really appreciate your time that you gave us.
Thank you for everything.
Yep.
You guys create a lot of good memories for people too, and that's what it's all about.
Well, we hope so. We're trying.
You betcha.
All right.
Thanks for
All right.
everything,
Take care,
guys.
Don, and we'll see you this summer sometime, I hope.
Definitely do it.
All right.
All right. We'll see ya.
Bye.
Bye.